And what up everybody, Anime Junkie, and welcome to part 6 to What If Deku Was Iron Man, and now, let's get to the intro.
Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Right in front, I get myself a lamb color cuss for the game. Leave him hanging by his chain. Click bang, feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And it's slowly building flames, building fires to my brain, bringing more. Please still, no glory.
Okay guys, last time we left off, we just finished the All Might assessment or combat assessment with the hero versus villain team, and now let's get to the other arc or something. What was the arc after this? Oh yeah, USJ arc. So let's get to that. So the USJ arc, they basically get there with the costumes on. 13 basically introduces everything, or she basically explains everything. They go inside, she explains this is the shipwreck zone, this is the landslide zone, and all the different zones, and basically in the middle a portal or giant portal opens up and all these villains start coming out. Aizawa basically notices this because the electricity was basically cut off in the USJ, and basically he was like, okay, this is a villain attack, this is not a test or anything like that, this is actual villain attack. Everybody's like, wait, how did they get here? Oh, there's no entrance here. It's like, oh, it's probably because of that portal over there. And Deku basically says to Aizawa, do you want me to go and contact the others? And basically he said, can you do that? And Kamirari said, no, I've been trying that for like a minute now and it still doesn't work. And he's like, okay, then I'll just fly out of here and use my super speed to get there. He's like, okay, he double taps his arc core or arc reactor on his chest. His suit basically comes on and he basically starts flying through the roof. He basically blasts a hole through the USJ arc or the USJ building. Why do I say arc? But he blasts through it and basically goes to Principal Nezu. And by the way, since All Might was already healed, he's actually over there with the children. So him and Aizawa actually basically run towards the battlefield, fighting all the villains. All Might's taking them out. Aizawa also is taking them out. And since it's All Might helping Aizawa, the strain on Aizawa and the more he uses his quirk was lessened in this What If series instead of in the canon, like he was fighting them all alone. So instead, he actually has the #1 hero on his side, and he's taking down a lot of people. While this is happening, the villain Kurogiri basically attacks the students and basically tells them, we're actually taking you down. And instead of the students actually running away or anything, or getting attacked by or attacking the villain, they actually get swallowed by the black mist or something, or black energy, and basically get teleported all throughout the USJ arc. The hero 13 would try to actually attack the villain and try to suck him up, but instead he accidentally absorbs himself with his black hole ability, and it basically destroys himself, and he's gravely injured and put down on the spot. And basically, I might not have noticed, I accidentally might have said he. Again, I'm still not used to 13 being a he or a she, so I'm sorry for that. So Iron Man does, or Tony Stark does end up getting to Principal Nezu, who basically warns him that that the students are being attacked in the USJ arc. And if you might be asking, why didn't he send a like transmutation or like this messenger or speaker thing to that, I don't really know. I don't think Tony would actually have that, and I don't think he would be able to control it while he's fighting. So that is exactly why he would actually go to Principal Nezu directly instead of just sending a suit over or something, because sending a suit over from his house to USJ is pretty far and he doesn't really have the time for it to actually reach it, and then he might already be knocked out while the suit gets there, and he won't be able to basically talk to Principal Nezu. Sorry if you heard that, I accidentally hit my hand on my table. So anyways, so he gets there, he basically tells Principal Nezu that he's like, the students are being attacked. Principal Nezu probably has a device or anything like that to warn every other pro heroes or teachers in the school that certain place is getting attacked or something and you need to go help them. So he'd basically press that button underneath his desk, and it will basically create a microphone on his desk, and basically he said, okay, students are being attacked in USJ, class 1A is being attacked, All Might's there, and Aizawa is there, so you should go there and help them. So all the students, or not all the students, all the teachers in in UA basically rush towards USJ to try to break in and help this situation out. And right as Principal Nezu is basically talking to all the students, Tony basically leaves. He's like flying towards that area, and Nezu was like, oh wait, I wanted to basically ask you to lift me over to that place, and was like, oh whatever, I'll just go by myself. And Tony basically goes there. He basically goes to the same, or basically breaks in. Oh no, I don't think you should break in. I think you should basically go through the same hole, because if he actually creates a hole, the villains are basically exposed to the entire school and the entire school is in danger. So I think it would actually take the same hole that he actually entered and basically escaped from. So he enters that hole and basically lands in the middle of the fighting. He starts shooting blasts, and then by this time when Principal Nezu was probably talking towards there, he probably already sent a message to his entire house to basically release all the suits and basically make them appear in the USJ arc and basically help him attack the villain. So instead of having just one Iron Man there'd be like 10 Iron Mans there. So when Tony basically gets there, he basically sees Iron Man, or not Iron Man, he basically sees All Might fighting the Nomu, and he's having a really tough time because all of his punches that he's basically punching the Nomu with, all are basically being nullified. So the computer, or the glasses that he was wearing with the whatever you call it, or the AI inside of, or Jarvis, he basically scans the entire Nomu and finds out that there's like a 70% probability of this creature or whatever, because he basically says this creature isn't human, and because of his physique and all that stuff, and his brain is exposed. So he said this creature isn't human, and the probability of having more than one quirks is 99% high. So he basically deduces that he has super strength, he has shock absorption and regeneration. So he's like, he has shock absorption, right? So he basically asked Jarvis to basically find the weakness, and he said the brain is exposed, so the brain should be the weakness. So the best way to do it is basically cutting off its head and separating it and destroying its brain separately. And Tony's like, okay, I got this. And he creates his laser saber or something like that. He used the laser saber against Thanos in Infinity War. I think you would probably see a clip there, but that is exactly the saber he uses, and it's like some kind of lightsaber, and it's like electricity and stuff. And he basically flies up to the Nomu, completely chopping its head off, and basically flying towards and basically shooting it with his electric gun or electric cannon, and basically completely obliterating its head. Shigaraki's just shocked. He didn't have the time to process this moments that he just saw in front of him, that All Might was fighting him, and then in a split moment this Iron Man or Tony Stark basically came and chopping off Nomu's head and destroying it, and the Nomu's body just fell on its back and basically just is limp. He can't move, so it's dead. So he's like, what the hell happened? What kind of technology can beat someone that is equal, or maybe even equal to the power of the #1 hero, and was built to destroy him and is considered a weapon? So after this, oh, and by the way, Aizawa doesn't really get attacked by the Nomu, because All Might actually saw the Nomu and he's like, okay, this guy is dangerous, so I better just take him out quickly. So that is exactly what happened, and they were just continuing that fight when Tony arrived. So Aizawa, at the time when All Might and the Nomu were fighting, Aizawa was basically taking down villains left and right, and Shigaraki was thinking to basically attack him at that moment, but he was so intrigued by the fight and seeing All Might struggle, he was just distracted. And some of you might be asking, would All Might be able to be strong enough to defeat the Nomu? Well, he would have. I mean, if he did end up winning the fight, or I mean, he was gonna win the fight if Deku or Tony Stark didn't actually intervene by just cutting off the head of the Nomu. But if the fight went any longer, I think All Might would have become like stronger in the fight, because remember, his injuries healed because of the stem cell therapy, or the Stark regeneration therapy that Tony Stark created. And remember, because All Might is healed, now he won't be able to hold his power back. Well, I don't think he would get stronger anymore, because he already gave the power to Steve Rogers. And if some of you might was asking in the last part, what was Steve Rogers doing in the fitness exam? And he was basically there, and basically he was close to Ida's speed in the other races, and basically in the other tests he was close to other people, but Tony Stark really did beat him because of all the technology that he had on his disposal. So yeah, so this time he would actually be in Deku's spot instead of Tony Stark's spot, but he would be with Tsuye and all the others in the water area. And the Nomu, or Shigaraki, wouldn't really ask the Nomu to defeat or kill these kids, because All Might was there, and Deku doesn't really have a problem because All Might is strong. He doesn't have his injury anymore, so he doesn't really need to intervene. Oh, and Steve Rogers, not Deku, because I keep confusing those, because I keep confusing that Deku this time is Tony Stark, and this time in Deku's place it's Steve Rogers. So I think Steve would actually basically go and fight and help Aizawa with his fighting abilities, because he knows how to fight. He has 2 quirks, all for one. No, not all for one. One for all. and he does know full cowling, by the way. And he also has this like boomerang type of basic ability where he can basically use his shield and stuff and summon it back to him. And he also has that, so he basically uses his shield and basically fights like Captain America does, using all of these fighting abilities, legs, arms, and all that stuff with his full cowling. So he's not like Deku, who basically needs to be told that he's imitating All Might too much. He already has a fighting style with his father that taught him how to fight like a military person, because remember, Captain America used to go to the military and he used to basically fight there and stuff, and he basically quit and retired and became a hero instead because he just missed fighting and fighting with justice and stuff, helping the country out. And this is the first Captain America, or Steve Rogers' father, in this What If series. So Steve is basically using the same fighting style and with his shield with with Aizawa and fighting the villains. All Might is fighting the Nomu. Deku comes in, basically slices the Nomu, kills him. Shigaraki's all stunned, and then at that moment, all the heroes, and these are way more heroes because this time Nezu actually did have the time, or didn't have the time to actually collect all the heroes. So this time he did have the time and was able to basically tell everyone. So yeah, so a lot more heroes are arrived here and basically helping the students. But when they get there, most of the villains are already taken down by Steve, Aizawa, and All Might did step up because his time limit, he doesn't really have a time limit anymore. So he was actually stepping in and basically attacking the villains. Deku actually tried to attack Shigaraki and Kurogiri, but Kurogiri teleported Shigaraki out of there because Shigaraki knows that he can't stand up to a Iron Man with other suits, because they also arrived just when the other pro heroes arrived. But I think it would cancel the order or something and basically send them back because they don't really need it anymore. And that's the end of the USJR. Kurogiri and Shigaraki basically run away. All the other villains are basically taken down by the other pro heroes, All Might, Aizawa, and Steve Rogers, and also Iron Man. So I think Momo and the others will also do their jobs as students and heroes in training. So they would also do that. Aizawa at the end will basically tell every other student that they will have one day off because they need to investigate this hero basically invasion, or not hero invasion, villain invasion. And basically they have that meeting where it's like they discuss they might be a UA traitor, but that's still a theory, it might not be true. But after they have like the other invasions, like the Forest Training Camp invasion, they will finally know that there is a traitor and they need to find him. That's why they will basically implement the Jorm system. I'm just basically talking about this, but so right now they just basically need to investigate. That's all. That's just future talk in different parts. I don't really care about that right now, and you shouldn't really care about that yet until the parts actually come up and we need to talk about it right now, right there. Anyways, so make sure to like because it really does help the channel out. Make sure to subscribe because you can join the family, and make sure to hit the bell icon for my future videos and to get notified by them. And now that's it. Anime Junkie out.